What's going on, folks?
Oh,
What's going on?
happy Tuesday, people.
Okay, let's see. I really don't have nothing like no videos, nothing really queued up, but I'm gonna read something. We're gonna talk about something.
All right.
All right, so title is Loved by Some, Hated by Many, Remembered by All. Great black men are always talked about. Maybe I should have had some stuff queued up. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should, but
It's all
nah.
right.
Nah, I'm gonna read it though.
Yeah.
Cause we all have our ideas of what greatness is, and a lot of times, especially in black men, it's tied to almost as how a perfect person, almost Christ-like for some
What
reason.
you mean almost? You got to be Christ-like,
Mm,
baby.
mm. So I got a couple quotes right that I'm gonna speak on. A great man is a torch in the darkness, a beacon in superstition's night, an inspiration and a prophecy. Been a bit easier while I pulled it up first, but hey, whatever. If a man can bridge the gap between life and death, if he can live on after he's dead, then maybe he was a great man.
Ain't no maybe.
James Dean.
James Dean.
A great man is made up of qualities that meet or make great occasions. James Russell Lowell. A great man is one who leaves others at a loss after he is gone. Paul Valery. It takes a great man to be a good listener. Calvin Coolidge. The bravest sight in the world is to see a great man struggling against adversity. Lucius Annaeus Seneca. That's what it is. A great man does not seek applause or place. He seeks for truth. He seeks the road to happiness, and what he ascertains, he gives to others. Robert Greene Ingersoll.
That's the second quote you done did. So
What?
that's the second one you read for him, Robert Green.
Oh, the other one's Robert Greene? I didn't say it.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
of the
okay.
other ones were.
Oh, I didn't say his name. The first test of a truly great man is his humility. By humility, I don't mean doubt of his powers or hesitation in speaking his opinion, but merely an understanding of the relationship of what he can say and what he can do. John Ruskins. Every great man, every successful man, no matter what the field of endeavor, has known the magic that lies in these words. Every adversity has the seed of an equivalent or the greater benefit. W. Clement Stone. A great man is different from an eminent one in that he is ready to be the servant of the society. B.R. Ambedkar, whatever. I don't know that person. This is probably a white person. Most of these people's white people, Anyway, but they say some stuff about great men,
All
right?
right. All right.
Which, like I said, when you're a black man, in order to be looked at as being great in our community, you have to be almost saint-like.
It's no almost, bro.
Yeah,
You have
pretty
to
much.
be.
Yeah. So,
You have to walk on water.
I was inspired Saturday morning. I did a just a little something, 40-minute like little stream.
Okay.
It was called "No Saint, No Devil." You know, speaking on how people kind of talk about people, black men after they die.
Yeah, yeah. Um, of course, you referencing. I say, of course. I'm assuming you're referencing Kevin Samuels, and I was, I was floored
Mm-hmm.
at the rejoicing that
Mm-hmm.
took place. I mean, it was but it was a sign of where we are today as far as cooperation,
Mm-hmm.
um, getting along,
Mm-hmm.
being respectful towards someone else's different opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I mean, it's yeah. I saw several things. I heard several things, and it say all these little quotes you just did, they kind of relate to it because I mean I'm gonna go ahead and say he was a great man, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So uh, it's pretty heavy, pretty
Mm.
heavy. What you think?
So I witnessed some people that I know, just saying certain things. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like it shows the misandry, right, in our community.
Hmm.
It definitely shows misandry. The man didn't do anything but state his opinion.
Right.
People tuned in.
Called him.
They called in,
Called him.
and they put their life out there so he can like give them advice. And
They
that's what he
asked for it.
did.
They asked for it.
They asked for his advice.
They asked for
Now, whether I mean, to be hurt, to be, triggered, as we say, whatever it is, as they say, you had to see something in that person that was talking, that was asking for advice, and it had to hurt you. It had to touch you, so he didn't do that to you. He didn't,
it.
it and what people don't understand, this is the problem, right? And he refers to this a lot, and other men, in the manosphere say this, right? Um, our women, and maybe women in general, I don't know much about other races of women, but I can speak around women
I
because,
got
you know, it is what it is.
you. Right.
Um, they've been fed a lie that they are all special. They're all different. Everybody's different. You got billions of well, millions. You got millions of different women in the black community, and each one of them is different, right? There's only so many different personalities. There's only so many. It's not. It's not. It's you can count it. You can count it.
Let's go say it's not.
You can count it.
I don't even think it's that many,
No, it's
but
not that many. It's probably about 7, 8. I can't remember, but it's only so many, right?
right, right.
So based on seven, let's say it's seven. Let's give it that number seven. Seven personalities. Then you got emotions. You only have a certain number of emotions.
Hmm.
So let's talk seven times the number of emotions.
Okay.
Then you got, you know, experiences, life experience from childhood. Because usually when you have childhood, when you grow up, how you grew up is usually, dictates where you're gonna go in life or
Oh,
whatever situation.
yes, sir.
So you only have seven times whatever how many emotions at the time that you have at the time because you go through a range of emotions. Then you got your past. So as a black community, we have only a limited amount of, majority of us didn't grow up rich. The majority of us didn't grow up, well to do.
Yeah, I don't know
So
about you. I was rich, but
okay, well, hey,
okay.
congratulations. Hey,
I
congratulations.
was rich. I don't know about you.
That's
At
what's
least I
up.
thought I was in
Okay.
my
Hey, I
mind.
mean, and you can think that,
But
but
that bank account said different.
yeah, your bank account and the way people treat you and
Right,
what you can actually do,
right.
it's gonna prove
Yeah,
it's gonna prove you
kind of
wrong.
resources I got.
So my point in saying all this is that it's not a million different special women out here that don't uh uh mirror the next woman.
Yes,
They're more alike than they are different.
yes, sir.
So that is why it kind of triggered a lot of women. They felt he was talking to them, and whatever. I mean, you can feel how you feel. This is not what I'm speaking on today. I'm speaking on a great men, black men. And actually, I want to read something, right? Because this title almost became it was almost um Death of a King.
Okay.
And I was talking to a friend of mine, and when I said it, she had some pushback on why I was
That,
about to call it because I
that mean it was a great title then.
well no it could have been controversial, but I had to do see what I do research and I look up stuff and I read and um I come up with different stuff.
Hmm.
One thing I learned from the guy that died, I come up with concepts and I figure out how to tie stuff in.
Yeah.
I can attribute them that because I was able, that's something I learned from him. So
Hmm.
um so I'm gonna read something right quick. Um okay. To be fair, he responded to both men and women's inquiries about marital problems by first advising a self-analysis, but his answers to men did not rely upon old sexist tropes about nagging wives. Let's see. One second, I gotta skip over something. Many of the answers of these questions are what you might expect from a deeply learned and committed Christian. I'm sorry. While his answers about birth control may surprise you, um, though quite a few feel rather thoughtless and reveal a latent sexism. The woman says, "My husband is one of the pillars of the church. He is a complete tyrant at home. He seems to hate me and the children too. What can I do?" The man says, "I would suggest that you analyze the whole situation and see if there's anything within you that your personality that arouses a tyrannical response from your husband." Another one right Another one writes, "My husband is having an affair with a woman in a housing project. He promised to stop, but he is still seeing her. We have children, and I don't believe in divorce, but I cannot and will not share him. What must I do?" And part of his advice was, since the other person is so near, you might study her and see what she does for your husband, and that you might not be doing. Do you spend too much time with the children in the house and not pay attention to him? Are you careful with your grooming? Do you nag? Do you make him feel important, like somebody? This process of introspection might help you a bit. Hold on, I'm sorry. Help you to hit upon the things that you're responsible for your husband's other affair. That are responsible for your husband's other affair. To a woman who is hurt about being the butt of her husband's jokes, he says, "Sometimes individuals embarrass other individuals in public in an attempt to pay them back for being humiliated in private. Ask yourself whether you are doing anything, even unconsciously, to arouse a resentful attitude on the part of your husband." Let's see. Let's see. Like I said, he responded to both men and women, and it was, you know, speaking on self analysis first. No, looking at self. So, do you think anything I read was like harsh to tell a woman?
uh,
Controversial. Let's start right. That's the thing.
I can see why it could be controversial. The one with he's having an affair with somebody who
Mm,
lives close by,
mm,
and uh, it was told, well, won't you see what she's doing to see,
mm,
where you falling short or what she's providing that
mm,
you're not. I mean, I guess that could be taken controversial. I mean, but they are suggestions and talking points. So I
mm,
mean, I'm, and it takes a lot to move me. So
mm.
what I'm saying, I'm not. It takes a lot for me to deem something controversial. Tell me what you got.
So, from the audience that's watching this, when before I say this, I'm gonna make a statement after this, because we're talking about great black men,
Okay.
right? Uh, Black men are often hated after they're dead. They're often more hated. You hear more people hate them.
Hmm.
Um, this man was hated by, so many people and didn't kill not one person. Didn't kill not one person.
Man, I mean, it was quite the opposite.
Yeah.
He helped quite a bit of people. But
Okay.
go
Hold on.
ahead, go
Hold,
ahead,
hold your thought right
go
quick.
ahead, go ahead.
For the audience and for you,
Hmm.
who was I talking about when I read that passage?
I'm not sure. Malcolm X, maybe I don't know. Kevin Samuels
Mm,
is the guy who I came up with,
mm,
but because of the time and
mm,
everything, but it could cover
mm.
a lot of people, I
Okay.
think.
Audience. The person that wrote that was doing a advice column at the time on how to have happy living. You know,
Hmm.
they said that this person could help them have a happy living because they preached or they talked about, um,
Steve Harvey.
they talked about, unity in our community.
Hmm.
They talked about, black people banding together, doing what needs to be done to overcome adversities. That person, you thought it was Kevin Samuel.
Hmm.
That person was Dr. Martin Luther King.
Mm.
Right. That's why it was going to be Death of a King.
That's a good idea. I mean,
If y'all did not understand, right, Dr. King was hated by his own people also. What's up, Ashley? What's happening? What's going on, sis? Ashley put a post up earlier. She said she's love her black men, all her black men.
All of them.
All of them. She love her black men. I appreciate the love, Ashley.
Good love right there.
Y'all go check Ashley out. Black Girl Interrupted. All platforms. Every single one of them. Every one of them. Check out, y'all. But yeah, it was Dr. King, right? So, um, he was at the time of his death, like he was hated by. I want to say he had a 63% like hatred rating or whatever, and
In the community, in the
in
black community,
they, I don't know. I got to look back up. It could have been
overall,
it could have been overall. But we only make up at the time maybe 12-11% of the country,
right?
so I can see that happening, and 30 whatever percent of approval rating.
Mhm.
Um, at some point he was he was preaching the thing that was not prosperity, but it was a wonderful message. It was a
It was uplifting.
uplifting message.
Yeah,
But at some point
gotta admonish.
he had to get down to
If
another level.
if
Mhm,
if your focus is truly to help,
mhm,
then you must
mhm,
get down to that level. Now, if you're just looking for the fame and the
mhm,
and the fortune and what it goes along with that, then you see that today. A lot of these pastors in these different
mhm,
churches,
mhm,
they don't get down in there. They don't give them the real. So
mhm.
only if you're trying to help, that you have to get down there. But if you're not, you can continue to just uplift and uplift and uplift. And too much of anything is bad.
Mhm.
You know.
So, like I said about King, he was revered by some, but um, as we came to know, as we got grown, we understood King was no saint.
No, he was a human being.
He was a human being. Um, and the thing is that he helped a lot of people. Like every every minority in this country, women included, no matter what their race is, benefited from King's work, benefited from him. But he was still a man.
Right.
You know, he as I quoted all these people, all the great men things. He fit that stuff. He fit it. Just because you don't like the message, right, doesn't make them no less great.
No. No.
Matter of fact, if you don't like the message, sometimes it makes him a great man because being willing to tell somebody the truth against everything, against maybe death threats, which King did have death threats. A black woman actually stabbed King, almost killed him.
I saw he was in the hospital
Yeah,
for
he was
that.
in the hospital, almost killed him. He had death threats. Black people didn't want him to rock the boat. They were going through some things, and they attributed it to King
Right.
because of what we're going through. He was to blame, even though we're already going through stuff, right?
Right. Before he was there,
Yeah,
after he's gone. But like I said, it's always you need a scapegoat.
yeah. They blamed him. They blamed him during his life while he was living. They blamed him for the problems, right? Because of him, because of what he's doing, it's getting worse. You know.
I can see you.
Now make the correlation. I've heard people blame KS for the divide, the gender war, right? The divide between black men and women.
That was already here well before.
Almost 50 years.
Well before. I mean, it's documented.
Yeah.
It's
No, I
documented.
put a video up on our page on Facebook, and it was 50 years ago. It was actually 50 years ago. And like I said, there's a correlation there. Malcolm X, if you look at Malcolm X, at one time Malcolm X was a criminal.
Hmm.
He was a criminal. Turned his life around, gave his life to Islam, which, that's one way they divide us as black folks, use religion to divide us. My personal take is whatever makes you a better man, a better human being, whatever, that's what it is.
Do it.
I'm not going to judge you for being whatever you need to be the best human being you can be.
Right. Right.
At some point, he's real radical.
Yeah.
Then he went to the pilgrimage. He went over there,
Changed.
Jerusalem, changed his life, right? He stopped being so radicalized. So at some point, and we can consider him a great man because for those that don't understand history, don't know history, if anybody young comes about, Dr. King did not like the change that happened by Dr. King alone. What you don't understand is that it's going to take good and bad in order to change things. Actually, there's a book called The Sword and the Shield. The sword being Malcolm, the shield being, I'm sorry, the sword being I'm Malcolm, yes, and the shield being Martin. Um, that's what it was. You needed both sides.
Mhm.
Like you cannot have change. Like you can have positive all day long, but without that threat of negative, nothing will change. People will be in delusion. So, and both were great men at the same time.
Right. Right.
Polar opposites.
Hmm.
Polar opposites. But because the both of them opposites existed, we were able to change quicker. They were both hated too, probably just as equally.
Just as equal. I believe, especially when Malcolm decided to change his outlook on his
Or
religions.
Islam, yeah, yeah. And by his own people, once again, he was dragged by his own people.
Yeah. Possibly taken out by his own people.
Yeah, no, no, it's documented. He was taken out by his own people. It was aided by the government, but it was handled by his own folks. But what we don't understand, like the people that speak ill on black men, right? It's already first of all, it's already been happening. It's just that if you're not paying attention to black men, like most women say, I don't need a black man, or I don't need a man. I'm sorry, I don't need a man, or a man can't tell me anything. If you already feel that way, then you wouldn't see the divide been here for 50 years.
Right.
You wouldn't see that. Um, the world caters to you pretty much,
Yes.
but like I think when I played that thing that Clubhouse when they was talking about whatever,
Hmm.
and they said nothing's wrong with women empowerment and all this other stuff, and a brother said real quick, it is something wrong when it's on the back of a black man.
Right. When somebody has to lose for you to win.
Yeah, when it's well, not only that, but it was a lot of black men. It took a lot of black men lives and hard work to get where we are today. Now, black men and women worked together in the '60s. Don't get me wrong, but it was the threat of violence from a lot of black men. Had there not been black men to have that threat of violence, if it was just black women out there doing whatever, nothing would ever change. You know, because of the men that put in the work, right? Women reap the benefits and don't even understand it because the work they did. Because it was, because of how they because of all the stuff they did. So they didn't understand. It's just like, okay, we deserve this. Um, and then fast forward to 2022 now, we don't need y'all
Right.
because of great black men,
Right.
because of, you know, Malcolm, Martin,
Hmm.
Huey Newton, all these great black men, the Black Panther Party, um, that want to change something, you know. While people going through stuff, while these men are going through stuff, you can speculate all day long. You can say, well, you didn't do this, you didn't want to do that, but their intentions. I mean, good, bad, whatever. Ask somebody their intentions. I've said this before. Ask somebody their intentions before you make a judgment call. Listen, listen to their intentions. You know, it could be all over the place, and that could be their skewed way of getting something done. Could be misaligned or whatever. But and if you listen and then offer your, input, opinion, or whatever. Perfect example, Malcolm and Martin. They had a few talks. At some point, Malcolm got closer to Martin. Martin got closer to Malcolm, and they had They only had, not that I know of, they only had one meeting, and it was brief.
Hmm.
It was brief, but they had mutual respect at that point. We're fighting the same war.
Very much. We just using different tactics.
So, um, Ashley said black men are destined for greatness. They are, Ash. The thing is about us is that we have to seek, we have to work together. We have to learn to work together. I mean, we have to learn to be like other races. If somebody's trying to do something, if you can't help out, shut the fuck up. Just plain and simple. If you don't see the vision, you know, first of all, if you don't see the vision, ask questions. Yes, yeah, they were able to agree to disagree. That's the thing. We can have totally two different. Me and Erica have totally two different ways of getting to point Z. In this world, there's several ways to get somewhere. For you, because whatever your skills are might be the right way to you for you, because of what if my skills are might be the right way for me. Whatever makes the impact, that's the right answer for that person. Um, we cannot begrudge or tell another man how to go about to get to a point.
Hmm.
And I saw a lot of men doing this.
Yeah.
A lot of men did this. You know,
People have no problem telling you what you should do with your abilities,
yeah.
whether it be your platform, your skill set,
Mm,
whatever the case. But
mm,
people have no shame. And I guess you shouldn't be shamed, but
mm,
the fact that you feel like you can tell somebody how they should do something that you haven't even done yet,
mm.
it takes a lot of balls.
Ashley said we have to come together as a people and not as competitors.
That's a very true statement. And I don't know why it's looked at a competition. Well, I guess I do. It's the psychology involved.
Capitalism side too. Also,
Yeah, but yeah, but I mean, it's like we're competing.
to be bottom of the barrel. We
Not
competing to be the bottom,
what
the top of the bottom. I'm sorry, the top of the
what
bottom.
even in relationships
Mm,
is it's all about what somebody else is bringing to the table. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? Are you hitting all the check marks?
mm,
What? And I think we've gotten off of just basic human nature. We are so lost when it
mm.
comes to working
Mm.
together as man and woman
A
should.
unit. Mm.
The way we
Yeah,
were designed.
yeah. Ashley said capitalism plays a part. Yeah, it's a big part because we were brought up. We were brought to a world that, first of all, was built on our backs. That we made this. We made them rich. We made this whole country rich. Our ancestors made this whole country rich, and to turn around, they're still building off our backs. We're still making them rich with, what, almost 1 point whatever 8 trillion or whatever dollars spending power. I can't remember the real figure, but it's like 1 point something million in spending, 1 point something trillion in spending power.
Mhm.
We still doing the same thing, only on a different way, in a different way. So, we have to understand, and you can't. My thing is that if somebody like let's take this channel for instance, right? I know firsthand that, speaking to people and talking to people about certain things, um reaching out to people will not, they're, oh yeah, yeah, that's good, all right, oh, you're doing it right, but they're not going to help out. Majority of people are not going to help. They're just going to stand back and they're going to wait to see what happens,
Yeah.
versus somebody doing something and doing it a certain way to get people to uh uh spark people to join.
Hmm.
And sometimes you have to trick people to do what's best for them. Sometimes you have to do that. The psychology of black folks is, white people been doing this forever. They've been doing it forever, but a black person doing it is a problem, right? A black person, oh, you should do that. You hate black people. You hate this. But let's look at what the outcome is. What the conversations we all having that haven't happened in 50 years. As I said, because we as women were programmed to not need a man, but society and feminists set that foundation. Correct. You know, like I said several times, I understand. I understand why the feminist movement happened, but it should have never happened in our community. We weren't we weren't there yet. You know, we need
Right.
we need to be unified. We need to get our foothold in this country first before we split apart.
Well, yeah, and not just that, but like you said, we don't have. I don't want to sound cruel, but we didn't have time for feminism when our men couldn't, weren't even invited to the table.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
you skip right over the what's supposed to be the leader of the
Hmm.
household and went straight to the women. I mean, and it's so easy to have this conversation in a developed world
Hmm.
when you have all these things like I said, nobody really is starving anymore in this
Hmm.
country. People are fairly safe. They don't have, they can walk down most streets and not be
Hmm.
have fear of anything happening to them. So you can talk that kind of talk
Hmm.
now when you don't need the brute strength of a man just to survive, just to make it to the next day.
Hmm.
So it's very easy to make that statement now, and it's been like that for some time because I mean, even at our worst time, it still was far from where we came from as far as starting out as human beings. So,
Hmm.
but what it
Just oh, I'm gonna read. Ashley said we were not ready for the feminist movement, and we still aren't. Um, yeah, we have some deep rooted issues we're gonna have to work out, and that's why I try to do the Sunday thing. I'm going to reach out to some women and try to do this panel thing every Sunday about trying to talk about unifying and like I said, every time I start out these discussion things, I start out with the question: do you think the black community has a problem?
Mhm.
Right? Nobody 3 weeks. Nobody said no yet.
Really?
No, everybody knows there's a problem.
Okay.
Everybody knows there's a problem,
But they don't want to talk about it.
but we don't want to. We don't want to. We don't. Yeah, we don't want to talk about it because that means now might have to do
Now you got to
something.
do something.
Now we have to do something.
Now
Yeah,
you got to do something.
and the ones that do talk about it, I think a lot of people has idealistic ways of trying to solve something when it's going to take hard work and sacrifice. It's going to take sacrifice. Pain and trauma needs to be resolved. Yeah. Um, I think on both parts. I'm gonna break off for a second to speak about something. So while I was doing all this correlation and stuff, I tripped up on something. Um, when we talk about slavery, right? And this is the thing: black women talk about certain things. They feel they had it worse. They got raped, right? They got raped, and but the thing was, they were valued even as slaves. They had value. They were the breeders. They were the ones that had the children, so they didn't get the brunt of it. Yeah, and that's what playing a victim gets us attention. Yes. So so there's a part in history after slavery that's skipped over, and I just totally by accident because I'm looking at stuff that I was going to do for this show. I by accident I came across it, and we're going to talk about it probably next week. I'm going to think about it because next week I have a guy that I told was going to come here, and was going to do a show about cryptocurrency, about different other Web 3.0, different stuff that the new stuff that's coming along.
Gotcha.
Um, what's the new thing? God damn it, I can't even think of it. Anyway, he's gonna talk about our new stuff. The new stuff
Yeah,
that
he's a lot of
NFTs. That's what it is.
oh
NFTs and stuff
NFTs.
like that. Yeah, so he's up on that. So I'm gonna have him. I'm gonna invite him to come on, and we gonna learn something about that.
What's his name? You know.
Ramel.
Okay.
But we're gonna talk about that because we need to worry about we need to get ahead of where everything is going as black people.
Right.
The quicker we get to where we need to go, the better off we're gonna be. You can't come on late and try to do something thinking you're gonna make a lot of money, you're gonna make an impact. So but back to what I was saying. Um there's a time in history right after we got let out of slavery and Jim Crow happened. This time in history is often it's all the time. It's skipped. It's totally skipped. History books and everything because it has something to do with the dehumanization and just the like crazy treatment of it was black men.
Hmm.
It was geared to black men. And it was like when it, the chain gangs and stuff, and the laws, the crazy laws to get men in prison so they could use their labor. That's the only way they could use as slaves. So it's a term called neo-slavery, and we're gonna get into that at some point. But neo-slavery happened. They made crazy laws in the books. Like you couldn't quit your job. You couldn't quit your job
Right.
because if you quit your job, you had to have a purpose. You quit your job and you somewhere, whatever. Oh, you don't have no job. You going to jail, lawyer, because you don't have no job. Uh, you couldn't way to get around back then. And well, real quick, the way you get around back then was train. Train tracks, whatever. So you
Okay.
couldn't hop the train. You couldn't do that. It was against the law. Hey, hard labor. But if you try to go from place to place walking the train tracks, now it's trespassing, hard labor. So it was laws put in place to get enslaved black men
Mhm.
to where we could not. Now we can't be with our family. Every point in history that I could look at, right? Because I've been trying to look back to see like what part could we have built on and made better to try to get us to where we're not in this position now. Every point in history I look at, there was a law, there was something that like damaged black men, took black men from their families, or just totally emasculated black men a certain way. And up to the 60s when civil rights happened, 64, 65, whatever, whenever they passed that. Now the laws changed to where now men can't really get jobs because now women are double minorities. So now what they did, they still did something to emasculate men, and we didn't realize, women didn't realize what was going on.
Right. I think nobody really
You know,
realizes,
mm,
except for the people who put this plan
mm.
together. So.
So this just goes to show you, like, if you look at like I've read so much stuff and looked at so much stuff where women are celebrating the fact that they're winning, right? They're doing better.
But see, my thing is, what are you actually winning? What
Mm,
what 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 are you getting now? Because is it the jobs
mm.
that you always wanted, or is it the amount of money you always want to make? What is their definition of winning?
They're able to compete with black men.
But
They're able to be above black men.
and that determines winning. Okay, okay.
Because if you think about it, if we because we are often viewed as men and having the same rights or the same benefits as white men, right? We just talk about men, and by what as you say, playing victim get us attention, right? If you think you're a victim,
Hmm.
if you're forever victim, right? You're a victim to who? You have to be a victim to somebody, and the closest person to you is black men.
Okay. So I don't understand all of them. So
So by that, right? If I can outdo a black man, I am winning. So
so what's the prize? Just to say it,
I'm not gonna say it.
okay.
I'm not gonna say it. Um, buy a dog, die alone. If you're competing with men, because I mean, thing is, couples. I mean, if we're supposed to be working together, right?
Hmm.
It shouldn't be a competition.
It shouldn't. It mean I don't know. I could talk about different things that go on in my house,
Mm,
but I mean it's and I don't know if it's just basic human nature
mm,
or I don't I'm not sure what it is, but it's not a competition. This is a destination, I
mm.
guess you could say.
Yeah.
You going as a whole,
Mm,
but I don't know. You try to crawl into somebody else's head and see what
mm,
what they're actually thinking is impossible.
mm,
So you just as men, you just got to stay focused on what you're trying to do and keep
mm,
moving forward.
mm,
But yeah, that's the last thing you need is that competition
mm,
factor when you come home
mm.
or in your relationship where you're supposed to be building. So
So we got a little bit off topic. We got right around. So I'm gonna come bring it back to the great men, right?
Okay.
Um, so the thing about these great men I mentioned, right? They didn't. It wasn't good enough that they lived in from themselves, lived in, found a way to navigate whatever the society had for them, right?
Hmm.
They chose to try to do something to make people around them better, to make the world better for people that that look like them, whether it was man, woman, child. That's the difference. That's where greatness comes in. It's not about self. Um, I'm sure if he would have, either one of these men would have said, you know what, I'm gonna be good. I could make money. I could preach because both of them, preached. Both of them, Malcolm X, he spoke. He didn't really
Yeah.
preach, but he spoke in front of
Yeah.
the mosque, in the mosque.
Very
So,
similar to a preacher.
yeah, similar to preacher. Martin preached.
Hmm.
So he could have made, they both could have made a lot of money just doing what
Just,
they did
just talking.
and been good
Mhm.
and lived a longer life, actually.
And that's why I asked the question, or I made the statement. It all depends on what if your intention is to help, then you got to get down and dirty. But
Mm,
if your intention is to just live well
mm,
and prosper,
yeah.
then yeah, you could, like I said, they could made it 80 years old.
Yeah.
However old. So
Yeah. But are we really winning? Ashley asked, but are we really
see,
winning?
that's what I want to know. Actually, I want to know. So what's the end game? I couldn't answer that
Mm,
question because I don't. I'm not competing. Not like that.
mm. Because of individualism, and we had to show about this, right?
Hmm.
Cancers of our community. One of them was individualism, right? Now everybody sets winning in their own,
And their own terms.
in their own terms, right?
Right.
Everybody sets winning in their own terms. But what actually happens, and either men and women at this point, what I'm about to say right now is not gender specific. What ends up happening if you play this game is that you're gonna have personal wins, right? But your seeds, your kids, are gonna fail.
And we see the results of that.
We already see it, yeah. We see it because the thing is, if you don't build up your community around you, there's more pitfalls, there's more stuff that goes on that your kids can get caught up in because you didn't take the time, you didn't make the sacrifice to make your world better or your surroundings, your neighborhood better, your community better. So now you leave the luck of the draw for what your children come along and your grandchildren come along. It's a luck of the draw situation. You can raise them as perfect as you think. My son goes to private school. I could pay all that money for private school, and you go out in the environment, something happens to him that's going to take him out because I didn't worry about my community. I didn't worry about my environment. I didn't worry about my neighbors over there doing what they're doing, and try to maybe educate them and maybe talk to them, maybe get things in a better place. Short sighted, folks. That's what we are as a black community. We are totally short sighted. Um, let's see what this actually said. We still do not own anything. We are still contributing to the wealth of the white man. So how are we winning? Exactly. We really aren't. We have personal wins. The ability to go places when we want to. Also that neo slavery thing I was watching. They spoke on the green book. Yeah. You know the you I think we talked about the green book one program. The green book was like a travel guide for places that was okay for black
Black
people to
people.
travel, that
Yeah.
they would be okay. Now, um, we don't need that now. We free to go where we want to go, do what we want to do. And now we see that as winning because we could do what other people could do. We could do what any other race could do. And that's a personal win. But the thing is, what about our community?
Yeah.
You
What
know,
cost?
what is it gonna cost us as a whole?
What cost them? And it's. I mean, we reliving it already.
Mm,
We reliving it every day since probably for the last 20 years, 30 years. We see the cost,
mm,
and we refuse to correct it. Um, it's very. I've been listening to a lot of different things the last couple of days, and it's just it's so deeply rooted. And I always say, like with the psychology, just the society. You guys talked about capitalism being a
Mm,
thing, but
mm,
that's what this country was built on. It's focused to induce consumption out of
mm,
the citizens or whoever comes to visit. So we're constantly on that in that rat race,
mm,
trying to consume more and more. And, but it's a psychology involved that these companies, that's all they do is study human behavior,
mhm,
how people react to things, how and we are, and I'm not, and it's not. I'm sure it's not just the black people because,
mm,
like I said, we don't have enough money to fund all of these companies.
mm.
It's not enough of us, at 13%, 14%.
No, it is if you spend all your money though.
If you spend all your money, but still, it's still not. I mean,
Mm,
you talking about? I can't remember what our economy is, but it's multiple
mm.
trillions.
Yeah, 1 point some trillion. Yeah.
But you know, we have got to take back our minds, take
Mm,
back our spirits. I honestly, I don't want to be pessimist, but
mm.
it's like, can we fix this? That's my
No,
question now.
yeah, and that's the whole thing. I think, and see, go back to the way people talked about somebody that had a critical view on black folks,
Hmm.
black women, and black men.
Hmm.
What you just said, it's a critical. It's critical.
It's
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 very
it's
critical.
it is beyond critical. You ask me, but yeah,
So I cannot approach a critical situation with soft
yeah,
gloves.
with, oh, it's gonna be all right.
Yeah, I cannot approach a critical situation and think I'm going to make a difference, not having that fire behind me,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, for me, I always can look back because I had my dad at home growing up,
Mhm,
and you know, I have no problem with the truth because he that's who he was. He didn't care about hurting feelings,
mhm,
hurting asses. He
mhm,
just, he gave you what he thought you needed at that
mhm,
time. Very stern. He was what they call a man's man. I
mhm.
mean, he just didn't play around, which is probably what the majority of men need in their lives
Yeah.
growing up.
Mhm,
It's not probably, it's exactly what they need. And he wasn't perfect.
mhm,
Nobody's perfect. That's why my mom was there.
mhm,
She wasn't perfect,
mhm,
but the balance between the two was a lot more helpful than if it would just been her.
mhm,
I know for a fact if it would just been her, I'm not gonna say I would have walked over or anything. I
mhm,
always respected my mom and everything like that, but it's just our dynamic between one another it was much smoother. It was easy. It was oh, it's okay, but it was loving. It was
mhm,
motherly. Whereas what I got from my dad was the truth, was
mhm,
the straight. And for a long time I didn't like the truth.
mhm,
This this what's wrong with this guy, but and I actually got pretty lucky because I realized this. I always tell my son, I realized my dad knew what he was talking about it right about the age of 14,
mhm,
13, 14. I was
mhm,
like, this guy, he knows what he's talking about. The stuff he said was going to happen has happened.
mhm,
I guess because he either been through it or he just can read the
mhm.
tea leaves or
Yeah.
whatever. And I actually started listening to him a lot sooner than I think most guys were listening to their dad, if they even had a dad around. And I think that helped me out, even though I still strayed off and made my
Mhm,
mistakes. But I had that foundation of him, being honest with me, telling me direct, I give you I give you a story. I give it about my first house.
mhm,
And I wanted him to go over there and check it out with me. And we pull up to the house, and the first thing he say is, "Man, that's an ugly house." And he was dead serious, no. Now, and after he said that, I was like, "Oh well, let's go." I ain't getting this house.
mhm,
He just said it was,
mhm,
but that's just how direct he
mhm.
was. People today would never tell somebody that the house
Yeah.
is ugly
Mhm,
if they come along and take a look at this house I'm thinking about buying. They would never say that.
mhm.
They're boost. Oh, that's go. You
Yeah.
going they would give him
Best case scenario.
all
They
the
give you.
bullshit.
Yeah. Mhm,
But he was so straight up and direct, and I was like, damn. Then I had to step back. I was just because
You
it
was
was
excited. You was excited. You was
my
gonna buy a house.
my
Yeah.
first
Mhm,
house.
mhm.
And he was like, "You got the stars in your eyes, but you need to be paying attention. You need to see it for what it is."
Yeah.
And then I was able to actually step back and was like, "Damn, it,
But you understand, he
it
had to, he had to take them rose-colored glasses off your head. He had to eject that. He had to slap it off your damn
yeah."
face.
And he wasn't trying to hurt my
Mhm,
feelings or nothing. He was trying to give me the real, so
mhm,
I wouldn't make a mistake,
mhm.
so I could be better in the long run.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that. Like I said, after that, as soon as he said that, I was like, "Damn, this house is yeah, I don't want this house." No,
Mhm,
And it could, I mean, get ready to close in maybe a couple
mhm.
days. and turn it all around.
Mm,
But I mean, but that's who he was for me. He didn't care about hurt feelings, stepping on toes, none of
mm,
that stuff, because he was gonna. It's like medicine. He was gonna give you the stuff that was gonna make you better in the long
mhm.
run. You might not like it going down, but it made you a better person in the end. So I can, it's
Yeah,
we need more truth out this
mhm.
place, man.
Yeah, and that's my thing. No matter how the truth is presented, right? If it's truth, we need to pay attention.
Hmm.
Like stop, the deflection of worrying about the messenger keeps you in the same place.
Right, you not growing.
Yeah.
It benefits you none. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Ashley said personal wins are not creating schools, banks, hospitals, or stores to rebuild our community. They would rather continue making the white man rich.
Mhm.
You know, and that's the thing. In personal wins, actually, what it is, it's just trying to prove I'm better than other people in the community. It's
Right.
just so I can feel good about myself when I look out at the other peons in my community.
But like, look at what you're measuring yourself up against.
Mhm,
You know, you can say that because you're measuring yourself up against the people around you.
mhm,
I always say I want to be the dumbest person in my group. I
mhm.
want everybody around me to be
Yeah,
better than me. I want because that's how I get better.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, when you measure yourself up at the lowest standard, then I mean, are you really gaining?
No, no.
Are you really winning?
If you make 2 steps forward, shit, I'm at the top of the pack, baby. I'm good.
Right.
I'm good over
It's
here.
a wrap. It's a
Yeah,
wrap.
I could chill.
Yeah.
But like I said, as I also think great men, right, have foresight. They have foresight. They understand the environment we're in, and they see where it's going, and they try to do something to navigate that to keep from, I guess, worst case happening, or try to get the best outcome based on where we're going.
Hmm.
Malcolm, Martin, Martin, I had a dream. This is about the foresight. This is where we at. This is where I want to be. Now I might not make it there with you, but guess what? We're gonna get there.
Hmm.
He knew his life might end, but he was still willing to get put in the work
That's what it
to
took.
get people where they need to go, to do stuff for his kids and his legacy so they could see a better world. That was the whole community. That wasn't just about black men. That wasn't him doing what he did, Malcolm doing what he did. It wasn't about black men. The black men has yet to have a movement solely about black men until now.
Hmm.
Until now. And we see how that message is being taken by our sisters.
Yeah, it's not well received. But I can't speak for all
No,
of
no,
them.
not all, but yeah.
Right.
We're talking about, we're talking about a lot of. And I can't even say most, but by our sisters don't see the vision, right? The vision is you build up the black man, us build up black man, which in turn build up the black boys seeing the black men doing something. They got something great to aspire to. And now you've built the next generation of black men that are going to be something for the black daughters coming along to get with and keep the community going.
Right.
Build our community, right? But you cannot have a community by undermining your black men. You can't do it. There's not enough white men for y'all to go to. There's not enough Asian men. And what are the white women, the Asian and Hispanic men women going to be doing? Why are you trying to do that? What you think they're going to be doing? You cannot. You can't win without us, ladies. That is the message. You can't win without us. No matter how much they told you you could win, you got to face it. If you don't build up the black men, the black boys, you're going to lose by default because this community is going to lose. So now, I mean, the thing is, it's a harsh reality. Um, the reason why we're talking, and yes, we can speak about black men needing to uplift black men, but when you have women running the household majority of the time,
At an 80% clip.
if we don't work together, if you don't work with us, then what is that going to do?
But I mean, like I said, how do we even get back to 50%? We 80% of black kids are being born out of wedlock, which pretty much means a single mom household.
Mhm.
It's of course there's difference in there. There's
Yeah.
gonna be some single dads out there,
Mhm.
um, but for the most part, that out of that 80%, I say 90 some percent of those are single mom
Mhm.
households. So I mean, how do we bring it back? How, because now you're being told, you know, oh, you don't need a husband to raise a child or even
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
have a child.
Well, a family now is a mother and children. So that's the thing.
I had one of my buddies told me today it's a government program out there to fund single women for, like, was it in vitro or it was something weird. I
Oh,
couldn't
okay.
believe it.
Yeah.
Government funded,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to figure out
But you know that's aimed at white women, right?
it. It don't even matter
Well, I'm
because
just saying we're gonna do what we do if that's
yeah,
true
if
because
that
we're gonna want to get the money. But do you understand the reason for not wanting abortion to happen and to do that program is for white women so they could make hey, we're not procreating like the other minorities, so
they
we have to
not,
do something.
but according to statistics, they still are like 4 times greater than our race.
Mhm.
And we the well, I think Hispanics. Are they Hispanics or what are
Yes,
they?
man. Yeah.
Okay, I think they've overtaken us from second place. I think we third now.
Mhm.
But man, it's I'm trying to wrap my head around that 80%, and out of that, and the number, that 80% is only is fathered by 20% of the men of the community,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
the
just
Petro principle, 80-20.
it's just
Mhm.
mind
Mhm.
blowing that how much. Well, man, it's mind blowing
Yeah,
that.
it's the irony of life basically
Yeah,
is that because of you have the 20% of men are deemed to be higher up looks wise, maybe financial wise,
but I think that's probably the biggest conundrum for me is because that's not the 20% that's fathering these kids. It's just
no, well, if think so think about this. Looks aesthetically looking, right?
okay.
If you look a certain way,
Hmm.
that's nothing you had to work
Right.
on.
You had
So
to,
the
yeah.
thing is, if you didn't have to work on that, you're you're getting all the sex you want based on something you never worked on.
Right.
So you're not going to be as driven, and not saying all men right there are like this, but majority of men that are like this that you see, or most is not going to be driven to do anything because our main our main drive is to get women.
Yep.
Our main drive is to impress women or do something to get our basic needs met, which is sex. So Ashley said womb transplants. That's what you were talking womb, and I heard that.
Is
That
that what it
yeah, it's
is?
womb transplants, and that's some crazy shit because you know where that goes from there.
So what is it?
Then it goes to the not needing women. That's where it goes to from
Oh
there.
dang.
Um, but yeah, so this is what I'm saying. Aesthetically speaking, the top 20%, right, don't have to do any work.
Hmm.
So they don't have to do nothing. So these dudes can be laid back or whatever. Oh, okay, whatever. I'm getting women. So
Hmm.
they're not going to be, even though women shooting for them, they're not going to be majority of the time the guys that they need to be with because they're not going to put any effort in it.
Right. Right. They're
So
not going.
yeah,
They don't make good mates. They
yeah,
just.
yeah,
They
yeah.
just.
They
You
make
know.
good showpieces.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess it's taking them too long to realize that because we got what we got
Mm,
today. We got, like I said, that 80% children out of wedlock
mm,
is that's a real
yeah.
thing. That's I don't like
And,
I said,
and
I
you
don't.
pair that with 80% of women, if you get married, file for divorce, you pair it with that.
There you go.
So,
So
uh,
it's
ladies, just a little tip. If you want to, like the stuff we just said about the top 20, all this stuff, right? If you don't want to have those outcomes, younger ladies, these for younger ladies, because older ladies, our age group, I don't think they're having kids no more. They ain't trying to do that.
right. Well,
But there's some of might.
it's becoming
But
the new
yeah,
thing
yeah.
now. To
Janet Jackson, thank you, Janet Jackson.
talking about it 45, 50
Yeah,
now,
thank you,
man.
Janet Jackson, whatever. I can't remember the other woman. But anyway, have a guy vet the dudes. Like that's a real thing. A man is going to know what to look for in another man, and he's going to be able to save you a lot of heartache and pain. You
But you
know,
got to be willing to listen
you got to
and
be willing to
receive
listen.
it.
Somebody, a man you trust, brother, uncle, father, cousins. Somebody you trust, somebody that this man has my best interest at heart. You let them spend some time together. so he could pick up on the cues that you're not going to pick up, because like you said, the house thing, stars in your eyes, you only seen the good, but your dad had to come along and slap them
Just
glasses off your damn face.
boy, you see this ugly ass
Open your
house.
damn eyes.
You don't see this ugly ass.
So have other men that love you vet that guy. You'll save yourself a lot of pain. But this is the thing. Um, like I said, I believe that women should be able to work. Women should be able to do everything under the eyes of the law as men, right?
Absolutely.
This is my position. So if y'all go ahead and take a clip of anything I said tonight, and y'all take this, whatever. I was about to say something derogatory. I'm not gonna say that. But yeah, take don't you could take bits and pieces if you want to, but this is my position. Women should be able to do everything a man could do under the law, under God's green under God on God's green earth, under His heavens. They should be able to do everything a man should do.
Right.
But with that being said, when you have freedom to do everything right, you have also freedom to screw your life up.
See, that's what I'm saying. Is that what you really want? I think you should be able to do whatever you want,
Mm.
but is that truly what you want? Do you really want to be a heavy machine operator? Do you
Mm.
really want to be a damn a police officer?
Mm.
Hell,
Mm.
a correction officer. Is do you really want that? Now, if you do want that, by all means. But like you said, something comes along with that. It's
Mm.
not just
Yeah.
now I'm equal, but
Mm.
it's a price to pay with
Yeah.
everything you get. So
Trade-offs. Life is about trade-offs.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just certain. Well, I don't want to go too deep into that. Let's go. Wound transplant. That's I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah,
But yeah,
look it up.
he was
It's
schooling
crazy.
me about
It's
it, and I
crazy.
was like, "What?"
It's crazy. Yeah, we're getting to a place where we can do anything.
That's what I'm
We
saying.
can do anything, and that's what's
Just because you
yeah,
can,
yeah.
should you?
You have the freedom to do anything, and now we're gonna see, like, and the messed up part about it is that because of who we are as a people, we don't have any, like, we're not tied to any history to tether us to reality, right? Every other race understands their history, understands their past, and they kind of can tether themselves to it. Now you have some people that whatever, but at least they were tied to some kind of sense of self, and we weren't. So we gravitate to anything. Everything looks good because we don't have no sense of self.
That foundation. Yeah.
Yeah, no strong foundation. So even the fact that we our women, right? And yeah, I can say that we have men that have less than favorable ideas or thoughts about women. Yeah, they have that. But for most part, we didn't have a community of men, or we didn't have a movement of men come together and say, look, this is what we're going to think about women. This is what we're going to do about women. This is how we're going to treat our women. We didn't have that. We didn't have that. For most part, we were put in situations that we did not control, both men and women. But at some part, with the idea of freedom, women looked at men like they had control of their own direction, of their own, you know, uh, I guess of their own destiny, basically. And the thing is, like I stated earlier about neo slavery and everything else, laws were written, stuff was done in the background, behind the scenes, to make sure that black men was going to fail. That's what was going on. You know, hey, we talked about the '80s and the crack thing, right? That was a thing that was done, put in place by the government. Now we didn't have to go along with it. I'm not excusing black men at all from participating in that. But if you can't feed your family, and we don't own any plants, we don't have anything, we don't have any way to employ all the black men in our community, so we can't change anything. So what do? You know, great men strive to do something better and change something, while mere average men are going to do what they need to do in order to survive. It's the difference. Majority of men are average. Majority of people are
Yeah.
average. So that's why, that's another reason why unifying a band together is so much is so much needed. Because if you don't have a community, you don't have nobody to tell you that what you're doing is screwed up. You doing some basic shit, brother. You know,
Yeah.
we need to do this. We need to focus this. What about your kids? What are your kids gonna do if you do this? And we get, I mean, this is the whole thing, But because we vilify people that tell us stuff that is not comfortable, put either one of the men I named tonight in that situation or in that which call. I'm not talking about nobody in particular.
Hmm.
Because we vilify black men that say stuff that we don't actually like, or we think we're gonna have to do something different. Um, I don't know with perfection, but I appreciate it. Actually, we're not. Hey, we got our flaws like everybody else, but I think it's perfection when you learn to work. If we learn to work together, it becomes perfection. If we get to the point we learn to work together, my utopia, right? My utopia: men and women working together, not for the personal gains of men and women, but for the personal gains of their children and ancestors. Not the personal gain, I'm sorry, but the overall gain, the overall winning for their children and ancestors. That's my personal utopia. It doesn't mean that, you know, um, I'm gonna look at my win and I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna say, okay, I need to beat him. I need to do something to win. No. It says my utopia says, okay, I'm winning right now and he's winning too, but maybe he's doing something that I don't know how to do. And when my son grows up, my son might not want to do what I want to do. He might want to do what you want to do, what you're doing at the time. I'm gonna say. So now, or your son might want to do what I'm doing. So now we build like community, like, okay, you doing that, I'm doing that. But my son was looking at what you was doing, and you bring your son over to me. Hey, can you teach him how that? And you know what? You got a son too. Let me teach him this. Now both our boys know something because he been spending time with you already, and he already picked up on some of your stuff. Now he's coming to me. He's learning what I got to teach. So now they know two things instead of knowing one thing. Community, community, y'all. Let's see what that should say.
Yeah, we missing it.
We need to learn how to be partners, empower one another. We do, we do. But it's hard to do when society pushes female empowerment over needing a man, over working with a man. I
Okay.
mean, let's not even say needing a man. Let's take that off the table, right? Let's take needing off the man because you don't need anybody right now because of where we at. Society is, society has got to the place where women are pretty much, like you said, they're pretty much protected in society.
Oh yeah.
They pretty much safe. Like you can go out in the streets and not saying they're bad people in this world, right? And you must also be aware of your surrounding and everything else. But society is coming to a place to where if something happens, you can call somebody and get and have something happen. You can call the police. You're protected. We as a society know we need to protect our women and children and elderly. We know that. There's laws for that. Yes, Ashley. Ashley said we need to stop falling for propaganda. We definitely do.
That is 100%.
We need to stop it, right? It's too easy because it feels good to us, right? And this is both men and women side because we have men on the side that the red pill side or whatever it is, because it's a man's movement. We have some men on the side that don't have the same vision, right? Their thing is competing with the women because they felt unheard for 40 plus years. So yeah, you have those men. But the thing is, if you allow those men to dictate what's going on in the community, hey, that's not the totality of all men, not black men. So if you view those men right, that's all you're gonna see men as because you're looking at the negative. But black men as a whole, right, we're not out here trying to take down black women. It's not what we do. Trust me, if we want to do that, we have the power to do that. We have the strength. We have strength over black women. If that was something that black men wanted to do, it would be a crazy world for black women. It would be a problem. it would be a problem. All the propaganda wouldn't matter if that's what black men want to do. But that's not. Most black men want black women. Most black men want black women to, procreate with, to be with, to, to just to understand and be heard, basically. They don't want to compete. It's nothing in competing. Black women are still underprotected. Black femicide is real. Ash, I have to get the numbers on that, but like I said, majority. We're talking about a world where the laws protect y'all. So even let's say that there was no law. There's no law in place to protect black women. Women in general. Let's say women in general. Let's take it away from black women. There was no law in place to protect women in general. It would be a dog eat dog world. It would be crazy. Um, because I mean, you're going with physical strength. That's all it is. It's based on physical strength. If we was back in the times, no, let's go to Mel Gibson, Beyond Thunderdome, right? Let's go to something like that. Road Warriors, yeah. Apocalyptic. It was apocalyptic world, right? Y'all would understand what would happen. Y'all would understand there will not be any black girl magic. There won't be any women empowerment in that environment. There would be none of that. So you would actually get a true judge of what would happen if it was like that. But it's not like that. We're in a civilized society where we say abusing women is wrong, raping women is wrong, doing stuff to women, people that are not as powerful you or that can be victims is wrong. It's just wrong to victimize people. Period. We're in that society. Does it happen? Yes, it does. I'm not gonna sit here and say it doesn't happen. It happens. If it happens 10% of times, that's too many, but you can't do anything about it. You only can do about something about whatever happens in your vicinity, right? So yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, Ash, or any ladies, whatever it happens. But the thing is, uh, in order for you to, make men the underclass, or to focus on only women, you're actually creating what you didn't, that you're creating what you don't want to happen. Because a man being in a certain position to feel like he has no other way out, to feel like he's not being heard, you know, that's a dangerous man. To feel, think about and I'm gonna go through this concept. I'm gonna say it real quick, but it's something I've been thinking about, and it's a correlation between white supremacy and our black women.
What you got?
So the thing is that if you understand what white supremacist is, right, or white supremacist is, a white supremacist is somebody that thinks they're better than other people, right? What do you get from the women empowerment movement?
Well, they think they're better than the other race or gender. Excuse me.
I've witnessed women, like, men are beneath women, right? I've witnessed that from a lot of places. Um,
Well, that's what all the
Abort black boys. I've already put on one of the podcasts. I've already put that out there, right? That goes back to believing that black men are innately violent in nature and dumb, right? Goes back to 1921. I think it's 1921, maybe 1915. I can't remember which one of the days, but anyways, around that era, Birth of a Nation, when the first feature film done by the KKK, well, done by somebody sympathized with KKK. It wasn't the KKK in general, but it fueled the KKK to come back and start doing what they did, burning crosses and everything, to say black men were violent and they want to rape women.
that's the proper.
Yeah, it's the propaganda.
Hey, Ashley, explain to me because I've been hearing this quite a bit lately that the black women are unprotected, underprotected, and the black femicide. Is that what that is? Femicide?
Mm.
Yeah.
So the thing is, and I'm gonna tell you why the black woman feels unprotected, because that was actually, they had a live on Daily Wrap Up Crew,
Mhm.
and it was talking about Kevin Samuels, right? talking about how a black woman came on and she was like sharing basically a testimony about, based on, listening to Kevin Samuels, this, that, the other. And once again, I'm not here to sell any woman on Kevin Samuels. He's acquired taste. If you listen, if you don't, whatever. I don't care. But the thing is that the women said that they felt like he was attacking them, right? And um the reason they feel attacked because they lack what he was trying to make happen. They lack men in their life.
Mhm.
You know, uh the underprotected thing is that your family protects you. As a woman, you go, your father, your brothers, your uncles, whatever, they protect you until you get a husband.
Mhm.
Then that becomes your protection. But women without husbands are uncovered. So they walk around this world feeling unprotected.
Really?
And that's how they feel, right? That's
Okay.
because they lack what they, and that's what a lot of what he spoke on was the fact that, try to get together and push marriage. But like I said, we're not here to debate or talk about, you're listening to him. I don't, like I said, I don't care. What I care about is the overall message of unifying and women understanding that that propaganda that Ashley's speaking of is dangerous. It might feel good, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Maybe not for you. You might be in a position that you're okay, right? But it's dangerous for your
Yeah,
daughters.
like I said, yeah, it's dangerous for you too.
Well, I mean,
But yeah,
right now I don't see it getting to that apocalyptic situation, but
see, I think we already there, in our community.
Mhm.
But uh, I'm with
I mean, what I'm saying is the future. Like these young men, because we got to realize these women are raising young men
you. I mean, we
that are not.
we got a crop of
Yeah,
young men already out there.
yeah,
That was raised that way.
yeah.
So we already know what we're getting, and it's not getting any better.
No.
And that's why I was asking. I'm like, how do we fix that? How do we fix that?
So the thing is, and that's why, like I said, Sundays I do these discussions because I we need to talk about the solution of fixing it, right? Um, just like 40 years, 40 plus years, black men have just, just got along just to get along. We've put our head down just to get, along with black women.
Hmm.
That's what we've done for 40 something years. We haven't moved. We've been stagnated for 40 plus years. Now, women, yes, personal gains. Women, y'all have moved, y'all have won personally. Y'all have won personally. But now I forgot we supposed to been doing a show, but what happened was that KS died and all this came
What
about. The show
happened?
that's supposed to be tonight was okay. Ashley, we have to set aside our differences and have a better understanding. Yes, I agree 100%. Um, we need to understand the mind of a man and vice versa. Correct. So the show tonight was supposed to be I told you it's supposed to be the Icarus effect, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So the Icarus effect, real quick, because we still gonna do it, but I got so much shit, but we still gonna do it. But real quick, the Icarus effect, right? It was gonna it was gonna talk about just what we talking about. The Icarus effect is if you understand, and we don't have to do the show because I'm about to go into it right now. So the Icarus effect is if you understand Greek mythology, there was a guy named Icarus, and I'm gonna real quick over because I don't remember all the details of it. But what happened was that guy said, "I have these wings, right? Feathers, and it's made out of wax and feathers.
yeah.
We can fly." So they go flying. Older guy, and Icarus is a younger guy.
I think it was his
It
dad.
might have been his dad. I
Yeah.
think it was dad. Anyway, they go flying. So the dad is telling Icarus, "Don't get too close to the sun." Icarus wanted to fly. Icarus fly. He goes up to the sun. The dad's trying to warn him, "Don't get too close to the sun." Icarus feels good. Icarus goes to the sun. Wax melts, and Icarus falls to his death. Okay. The Icarus effect is also called in business the Peter
Speaking of
effect,
Icarus,
right? The Peter effect, which is you get to a certain point. You only can get to high to a certain point before you fail. Ladies, the Peter effect. Look it up. You've got to the point where now you're up there by yourself. What you gonna do up there by yourself amongst folks that don't care about you? And you're leaving your men down there. What is gonna happen? You're going to walk around feeling unprotected. That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. That's why the ladies feel unprotected.
So, like I said, I'm green. I'm lost. So when you're saying unprotected, so women actually feel like,
Alone in the world.
oh,
Yeah, alone. Pretty much alone in that they don't have nobody. They don't have the protection of a man. Because the thing, so let's go to the yin yang. That I need to download that. At least I could,
keep
I could do
pulling
that
it up.
really. Because I got to pull up because it's so many simple concepts, right, to explain what's going on in life. When you have the yin yang, the whole 360-degree circle, if you have that other half that you can only see half, you only have certain vision, 180-degree vision. I only can see from here to here. I can see from here to here. You feel less protective. You don't have nobody watching your back. Nobody watching your six, as they say in military, right? This
Okay.
You feel unprotected. That's why women feel unprotected because they have nobody watching their back.
Okay.
But
Because they're in the world alone.
because they bought into the propaganda of being above men.
Gotcha.
So now men cannot equate to what they need because they've been propped up, deified. Um, Ashley said, "We feel as if we are alone. The black man will tear us down before they lift us up." Um,
Is that are you stating that as what will happen, or you're saying that's a thought process that women are feeling that the black man will tear you down before he'll lift you up?
what Ashley, you could answer that question, but what I think it's because of the propaganda, because of what black men have heard for 40 years, right? You cannot keep on pushing the narrative, and not hearing the other side, and the other side not be angry, right? That's just like this. How y'all can explain it, right? The women movement happened because the women felt unheard, right? For the however many years they have it, and we're talking about the white woman movement, though. She said that is a thought process. We're talking about the white
Gotcha.
women movement, not the black women. Like, we have a whole different history. Black women and white women are not the same. They sided with the white women, right? Even though they had different histories and different outcomes, because we understand now the outcomes are different. Because we can look back, Sankofa, y'all. We can look back and see what happened during history. So the thing is that um, black women brought in, bought into the propaganda that we don't need a man. They brought into it wholeheartedly. We can have it all. And now, Peter effect, they're at the top. They're at the pinnacle. They've the most freest they ever been in life, right? The most education, the most money women have ever made they've made the most money as a whole, right? Um, More women are making more money than ever in history. You know, you're at the top, ladies. Congratulations. Like I said when we did the show last week, right? Congratulations. Y'all have made it. But the thing is, there's consequences to being at the top. There's consequences. Everybody at the top, when you're at the top, think about when you're at the top, you make a lot of money, right?
Mhm.
People want that money. So now you have a problem now, right? Who do you trust?
Nobody.
Now you're
Yourself.
alone. You're alone. You're alone because you don't know who to trust, right? This we don't Ladies, you're not in a vacuum, right? The shit that's going on, the way you feel is valid. I can validate the way you feel, but it's because of what the choices that we fell into, because of the propaganda we've that was designed for us, right? That we've bought into. Hold on. Ashley said we jumped on the bandwagon of feminist movement to have a voice. Yeah, to let the world know we can be equal to a man. That's a competition. So now if you understand that, ladies, you understand that, right? Now you understand what's going on now. Media has been focused on women for 40 plus years. The reason why, Ashley, what you said is that men will tear you down before they lift you up. The reason you feel that way, because y'all hear the men that are feeling a certain way about not being listened to for 40 plus years, right? And that's not all men. But as we know, the loudest voices, the squeakiest wheel gets the most oil, right? So you're going to hear the loudest voice. You're going to hear the most salacious shit because you're going to focus on that. It's not majority men. Majority men, if they're productive men, they're not worried about what the fuck women are doing. They're not. They're worried about being productive. They're worried about moving on and doing what they have to do for themselves and their family. That's what the men are doing. But if you listen to these other men that are worried about competing with y'all, you're going to feel a certain type of way. You're going to feel unloved. You're going to feel unprotected. And these men aren't going anywhere. You're looking down at these men, right? Why are you worrying about what's underneath you? That's the problem. Worry about what's on your level. Maybe you'll feel better. But like I said, it's all by design. We all are products of social engineering. You need to understand it. Look up social engineering. If anything, right, you need to educate yourself on our place in the world as Black people, and on our what society has done to us, where we come from. You need to educate yourself on where you come from. Look at each part of history. Break it down by 10 years, right? Look at 10 years at a time and understand what changed in us in 10 years, how what white people did to us made us turn a certain way, and then where we ended up the next 10 years, and then look at what happened then. Now look at where you turned the next 10 years. Then you start to build a pattern. You start to understand. Right now, we are a product of what we done in the past. We are a product of our ancestors not knowing anything. Think about it. When they were let out of slavery, what they didn't even know how to read. They didn't know how to read. So the thing is, they did something based on their own judgment, however misguided and however uninformed it was. They did something based on their judgment. Now the next generation did something based on their judgment of whatever their parents told them, which was lack of knowledge. So it's ignorance. But they thought it was best for them. They got what they got. A lot of them went back into slavery, because they were scared of whatever. So then those people, once we got, now I'm at Rosewood, no, in Rosewood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, they prospered. Now they were bombed and destroyed or whatever. Now you got fear. Fear is the motivator to keep you from doing shit. Now you're back to where your ancestors were. Think about it. You went all the way back because now you fear going forward. Now we go in the next generation building on that. Okay, we fear that if we do better, now the white man's gonna take it from us. And you had that for several generations. So right now, what we got, this whole division between us, we back. We back at slave time, man. We back at damn house nigga, field nigga shit. That's where we back.
Oh, wow.
That's where we back at. But it's not color now. It's gender repeating itself. Now, whatever the message that somebody, it's a reality. It's a real reality. But the thing is, they put things in your way. They put stuff in your way to make you feel like you're winning. They make you feel like I've arrived. That's always the thing. They're gonna elevate a certain percentage of people to where you could look at them and say, "Oh, look, they got there, so we got there, right?" Black president. Oh, we all could be president now. They're gonna put people up there to say, "Okay, we've arrived." But that's all they're gonna let get through. They don't want to let a certain few get through because they have to give you the visual of winning, to give you something to aspire to. It's a facade. Yeah, there we go. Correct, Ashley. It's a facade, something to aspire to. So if you have something to aspire to, right, you're in check now because you have to follow these paths. You have to follow these paths. You can't partner about it because you worry about yourself winning and getting to a certain point. This is the world we buy into. We buy into this. Like I said, like Ashley said, humble. You got to humble yourself, right? If you feel unprotected as a lady, as a woman out here, you need to look back and understand why you feel that way. Is it because men are actually doing something to you, or is it because you feel like you don't have any men around that are adding anything to your life? Hold on a second. Yeah, we have arrived. Yeah, we have arrived, as they say. Ashley said. Yeah, you have to look at that, ladies. Um, Men, hey, we can't, as men, we can't compete with women, right? Um, you need to do your own thing. Worry about your own self. Hey, ladies, I'm sorry, this is gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. It's more y'all than it is us. Men, why compete? You don't have to. Better yourself. Better yourself. Then ladies will come. I learned that lesson in 11th grade. I learned that lesson in 11th grade. Man told me that lesson, and okay, it was some real shit, some real information, right? That I stuck to my whole life. And it, that's the thing. Like you say, your dad told you whatever. I learned lessons along the way from different guys, and I picked up and I kept that. We are living too much in our masculine energy. Yeah, and that's the reason why. I mean, like I said, social engineering, right? So they study rats, they study monkeys, they study all kind of animals to understand what would happen if you do this, you do other things, right? They've studied what happened if you take and you put you take and you put a female above a male in a certain mammal. They've studied that. They know exactly what they're doing. Once again, ladies, it might feel good to think that you've won on your own accord. Go back to white supremacy, right? The saying that white supremacists, what they use for white supremacists, right? The white men that pull themselves up by the bootstrap, right? That's the stuff they told a white man so he could feel better than the black man. So now he's the lower class, right? Same way they trying to show women that, okay, you got this on your own accord, and black men are losing, right? They're not going to talk about Title VII, which gave y'all the upper hand. They're not going to talk about the welfare system, which gave y'all the upper hand. They're not going to talk about all this stuff that in laws that gave y'all the upper hand. They're not going to talk about that. But that equates the same thing as a white supremacist getting a hand up and getting reparations when we got let out of slavery. It's the same. It's the same equation. It undermines us as men, and by undermining the men, it undermines the family, and it destroys us as a whole, as people. I've been talking a long time, brother. You got something to add?
I'm just listening, right? I'm taking them between you and Ashley, trying because I like I said, I've been hearing that whole unprotected thing for a time, and I'm trying to figure out what does that mean. But I think I got it understood.
Yeah, they feel alone. They feel alone. But like I said, when you're at the top, look up the Peter effect. Look up the Peter effect. You understand what I'm saying.
We kind of segregated ourselves in that. You know, we did that to ourselves. I guess with some help, some outside influence, but
I think I said there's a discussion, right? Maybe I said it with us. I can't remember. I'm doing too much. Anyway, I said, we've integrated ourselves, only to separate ourselves. We integrate in society, only to separate ourselves from each other.
Right? And it's
fail. It's a failure, y'all. It's fail. Hold this L. It's a failure. As a whole, we are failing.
Well, I tell you, I don't. I'm not gonna call it a trick, but we've been mind fucked though.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. So where do we go from here? That's the overall question.
Yeah. Can we honestly say that we can change the thought process of somebody in their 20s, a 20-year-old woman, 20-year-old man, and get them to? I mean, because they already a part of the matrix. They already
they're in the matrix.
I mean, so how do we reverse this?
So thing, right? my take, once again, I'm not trying to sell this man on y'all, but my take is that you have to jolt them out of it, right? You have to, as harsh as you can. You have to be as harsh as you can to try to get the message across, right? You have to become Malcolm. You can't be Martin in that situation. You can't be the earlier Martin.
That's all we got.
You can't be the earlier Martin. You have to be later Martin.
All we got is Martin. Everybody's great. Everybody's everybody's doing amazing. And that's just not the case, and there's nothing wrong with being encouraging, but you need to be honest along with that encouragement. We definitely got the whole, what they call it, political correctness or whatever. That has really destroyed a lot of the society, in my opinion, because we're not being critical anymore. We're not analyzing things the way we should, because according to I had this conversation last night. I remember my son or somebody said something about an honorable mention, and I was like, when I was in school, we weren't playing that. I mean, it was a green ribbon they would give you.
Did you lose?
Yeah, right. I said we weren't playing that shit. I said if my ribbon wasn't blue, it was a problem.
Yeah.
I ain't even wanting that white or that red shit. You know what I'm saying?
Green.
It was all about winning, and it's not. And it was competition, but it was a healthy competition. It was for you to strive to be the best that you could be. But now when you start giving people a trophy for 8th place, that's nowhere near first. You haven't, but like I said, that's the society we're in now, when everything is okay. Everybody's being coddled. Oh, it's okay. It's like I said, we need some of that that truth really,
Yeah.
and just direct truth.
That hard truth, that hardcore
And I
truth.
can, like I
Tough
said,
love. Tough love.
every day I can appreciate the men that were in my life that had no problem telling me, I wasn't shit. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I don't know shit yet,
Yeah.
which
You
was
don't know.
true.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know
Yeah,
shit.
which was very true.
Ashley said we have to stop selling for the mediocre BS and stop selling for the bare minimum.
Yeah, yeah. But I
Well,
mean,
we have to tell our kids to stop. We have to educate our kids on um
yeah. I
what it means, what it means to work for everything, you get.
I try to explain to my kids. My daughter graduated a year ago from high school.
Mm,
My middle daughter,
mm.
and my son. I can't. He's gonna be a junior. But
You can't remember you like that
man,
dude on that damn show, man. Hold
hey man, hey,
on.
hey. All I do is I I I I'm the educator.
Yeah.
I give him what I want him to know.
Mm,
I mean, because I told him, I said, you go to this school, this government school,
mm.
they teach to the lowest level.
Yeah,
So
of course, of course.
I'm telling him, I said, okay, so what you got all A's? At what though? What is your comparison? I mean, they're teaching to the lowest level. You should be getting, you shouldn't. I think I said this last week on the show. I didn't carry a book home my entire high
Mm,
school, and we started high school in the 8th grade.
yeah.
So what's that, 5 years? I didn't
Mm.
carry a book home except for my Spanish book, my 5 years there. It was just that basic of
Mm.
what they were teaching.
Yeah, you're not learning anything
you,
past
you,
fifth grade sometimes.
you,
Only math. Like math, you'll add on to it, but
you,
majority of stuff.
you're not
Yeah.
learning anything. And and the stuff I want him to know, or my daughter to know, who's at home with me, I give it to him because mediocrity is being celebrated now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And hey,
And
that's
the
no way to
reason why,
elevate.
and I'm gonna tell you right, this is the reason why. Like I said, majority of people are average. So the thing is, if you make average people feel great, now you think everybody's gonna be happy. But no, it's not the case. What's gonna happen to everybody?
They can realize how average they are when they actually have to.
Well, no, they become depressed because now they
Right,
have to
but
get out in this
I
world.
mean, but look at what we
Yeah,
have today.
yeah.
That's exactly what
Mm,
we have.
mm. Ashley said we have gotten too sensitive. Exactly, we have. Um, but yeah, like you're saying, we have a bunch of average people celebrating average people. And the thing is, when you get out in this world, talk about our kids, when our kids get out in this world, now they have to compete amongst the world market, not just America. You got to compete amongst the world. And now you get to see how basic you are. You get to see you're not average no more. You're below average.
Below
And now you feel
less than,
what is it?
less
Yeah,
than.
you feel lesser than. So the thing is, you don't bring yourself up to speed by making a great lesser than. You can't do that. You keep lowering the bar. Hey,
Now you just got more average people. You got more,
yes, that's what we got.
more great people. I guess you could
Yeah,
call
more dumbing down and more people feeling they're great. The
it.
delusion. You got the delusion.
We live in a society of delusion, big time. So
So, like you said, you asked the question. I said we need to be like Malcolm. We need to become like Malcolm because we are in dire straits.
it's. I mean, I've been doing some deep soul searching
Hmm.
these last couple of days because I'm just like, and I think it was the death of KS that really prompted it. Not so much his death, just the way a lot of people reacted
Reacted to it.
to it.
Hmm.
And I was like, damn, is that where we are now? That somebody who had no impact on your life, you're celebrating their death. It'd be one thing if this is somebody who's actually oppressing you. I
A
mean,
Unabomber,
who had
somebody that
who or
kills a
who
bunch of people.
had the ability to oppress you, who
Hmm.
could stop you from moving forward in
Hmm.
life. This was a individual who got on a platform and espoused his views
That you had to willingly go into a
that
view.
you had to
You had
go
to
find
willingly
them.
go
You had to go
willingly.
find
Hmm.
them. And that's why I said I've been doing some soul searching.
Hmm.
I'm like, damn, what because I'll be honest, man. I live in a cave.
Hmm.
Because I'm really, and I need to do better as far as just like you said, community building.
Hmm.
But my life is enough to where trying to think about a life outside of my
Hmm.
cave is that's overwhelming. You
Mhm.
know, managing my family, keeping everything together there. I don't really have time. And I've said it many times. I don't really care what's going on at that point,
Mm.
because if this ain't right, because I always believe in, and that's the one thing about being selfish.
Mm.
I always believe if you take care of yourself, when I'm good, then I can take care of the people around me. And then if I take care of them, then it keeps spreading out. That's how I look at it.
But what happened when you're not good though?
Shit, everybody fucked.
Yeah, and see, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem of self individualism. That's the problem. You
It
know.
is, but I got to be my best me
Yeah. Why?
on that
Why?
day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, every day I got to do the best. And Tuesday I'm a little bit better than I am on
Mm.
Wednesday, or vice versa. But I gotta get the best effort out of myself
Mm.
every day because in order for me to make everything around me
Mm.
good, and that's real thing. I don't need you to compete with me. When I say that I'm with my wife, I don't
Mhm.
need her to compete with me. I need her to help me
Add to it.
be the best
Mm.
who I can be,
Mm.
because that's it's gonna just continue to spread out. But like I said, I've been living in the cave, man. I didn't realize how consumed we were in. I mean, I had an idea,
Mm.
but how consumed in society we were about things that don't matter.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like I said, people celebrating a man who had no impact on your life whatsoever,
Mm.
but they celebrating the death of this individual. And I'm trying to figure out what kind of person, what kind of, and I'm like, what kind of loser life do you have that brings you joy?
Mm.
That somebody outside of your reach is able to to bring that much impact in your life. So this,
So let me speak to something you said, right? Because I've noticed this in my life, and I've noticed the other people that I've been viewing. There's a such thing as an inverse. I can't remember what the other thing parable. I can't remember, but it's an inverse action, right? You said the better you are, right? So there's an inverse to that. The better you are, everybody around you that relies on you becomes weaker.
it depends.
Well, I
It
mean,
depends.
no, I'm saying it, and it's a balancing act. But I'm saying what usually happens because you have to be so strong. A lot of people can't balance that. A lot of people can't do that. And I'm not saying it always happens, but there's an inverse to it. There's a point, there's a plateau, and there's a point where it goes down to where the stronger you are, and that's what happens with a lot of black women with their kids. That's the thing. Um, Black women, they're great with their daughters. They're great with their daughters. The daughters emulate them,
Mhm.
right? The boys, the boys end up doing the inverse. They end up doing the inverse.
Because they, first of all, they don't have that man
They
there,
don't, yeah, they
and then
don't have nothing to aspire
they're
to.
being caught because most, I don't care what, yeah, just celebrate yourself, but won't dress exactly. Um, Most women are pretty tough on their girls.
Mhm.
They don't let their girl, and they coddle their boys. So that's why the girls always seem to, especially in the single household, the girls will outperform
Mhm.
because they're getting the brunt of that single mother.
Mhm.
Whereas the boys, they kind of, they babe him or whatever. And
Yeah, because his mother is so strong, right? She, babies him, and he doesn't.
and she raises
Yeah,
her daughter to be
yeah,
the same thing.
yeah,
And I get
mm,
what you're saying. The stronger I am, the weaker they
yeah,
become. But when I, what I mean, I don't when I me getting stronger don't mean doing everything for
mm,
them. Like me and my son, we do work
mm,
together now,
mm,
and I had to come to a point to where I had to realize, okay, he's old enough now to start learning how to do some of this stuff. I need to bring him along with me
mm,
when I'm doing these things so he can learn.
mm,
I tell him all the time, you probably can't, you probably won't meet another guy who knows how to use a hammer properly.
mhm.
Everybody swear they know how to use a
Yeah, yeah,
hammer,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
way
yeah.
to
Yeah,
do it.
it's a
It's
way to do it. Yeah.
assault any kind of tool out there. I said, everybody swear they know how to use it until you actually have to use it and you realize you suck. Because when
Yeah.
I had him build a little box for a garden,
Mm,
and he had to hammer the
yeah.
nail. You want
We used
them
to have
nail guy,
shop class, and we don't
right?
have that shit.
And he was
Yeah.
over there struggling,
Mm,
taking like an hour to nail in 4 nails. I'm like, come on, man, but my whole point was I had to be better
mm,
in order to share that with
mm,
him, because I wasn't gonna let him be weak,
mm,
and I'm on him harder than I am my daughter, but it's vice versa,
mm.
And I guess that's
But
a
if
man
you have a
sort of
wife,
thing.
then that's where your wife comes in, and she does it with your daughter, and
Yeah,
that 360 degrees.
yeah,
Ashley said, "Celebrate his death, but won't address mental illness in the
that's
black community."
correct.
And also, she said, will not address how they are trying to overturn women's rights. Yeah, I mean, some people felt it was a win that he died. I mean, they felt it was karma. Um, Once again, go back to the other men we named.
Don't everybody die though?
Yes, exactly.
I
Exactly.
don't know. If you got
Yeah.
good karma, you just get to stay around
Hey,
forever.
hey. I'm gonna start having good karma so I can live
Right.
forever.
I'm gonna live
I'm gonna
forever
live
if I
forever.
keep my karma right.
Fame. I want to
Damn.
live
But that's
forever.
what I'm saying. Come on, man. What kind of thought process is that? That's karma.
A loser.
That's what I'm saying. What kind? I mean, so that says a lot about where we are
Mhm.
as a community, and they don't speak for everybody, and they probably are. I'm hoping that that's just a small segment of of our community, but I do understand
It's
it's always
a large section of the internet, though. I mean,
it
I've been
is.
looking, I've been watching this.
I do understand that the radical minded
Mhm.
are do speak out more. It's plenty of level minded people who
Mhm.
probably just they don't get on the
They sit
internet. They
back
just
and yeah.
they just let things happen. So I got to understand what dynamic of person I'm dealing with when you're talking about the internet. That's
Mhm.
something completely
Yeah.
different. But still, the fact that there's even people out there who that many people who feel that strongly, that's weird.
But you got to understand too. Like I
That's
said before, uh, shout out to Boondocks, shout out to Evan
man.
McGruer.
That dude was on it
Yeah,
way
way
before,
ahead. Yeah,
way
you
before.
know, private moments hurt us, public moment hurts us all. You know, and by them putting this stuff out on the internet, you got other people consuming this stuff, looking at it, and getting the same views. And now this becomes a thing. Now the next time you see somebody, a black man, do whatever, they're going to celebrate black man died, and if a black woman died, you know, now in return, black men going to start celebrating
Now,
this.
could you imagine what would have happened had me had it been
Vice versa. Oh yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
it would have been a
Yeah.
fallout.
Yeah.
Men were like, "Oh yeah, I'm glad that
Yeah.
mother." Hey
Well,
man,
well, it would have happened on Facebook because a lot of men would have got canceled. That they would have put
they
them in
would have
jail.
banned they would have banned
Yeah,
their
a lot of
accounts.
men would have been banned in Facebook jail, or whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
but
mean, but all this to say, I mean, we talked about great black men. They changed their environments, right? Or they tried. They tried their damnedest to change their environments. Um, Majority of the time, after the time that they're gone, you know, we get to see the effects of what they were doing. You know, that's with anybody. You know, not to say there aren't any great women, right? There's great women that have done stuff and they've changed things in life. But the thing is that as black men, right, we don't get to we don't get the grace to fail. We don't get the grace to be less than perfect a lot of times. Society doesn't, you know, society has never they have never gave us anything as far as black men. They haven't. So everything is done, been strategic to undermine us, to take us out, to uh, emasculate us. You know, over throughout the history. So the men that any man has got over that, you know, all that stuff, past, present, and future, has are actually great men in their own rights. You know, if you get past, like I shared my story before, when I made 25, right, I felt like I won the lottery because I wasn't part of the
statistics.
statistics, right? Teenage from what 18 through 25 in New Orleans. That was the highest homicide.
Well, you know that's still the leading cause of death for
Yeah,
black men
yeah,
right
for black
now.
men, yeah,
Between
and
the ages of, I think it's between the ages of 18 to 35.
35. Okay,
I
well,
might
it
be
went up then.
wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
It may be
I'm
25, but
well over all that. So
I want to say, but before
mm,
40,
yeah, before 40,
that's the highest
mm,
cause of death
mm,
in the black community,
mm,
black men,
black men.
which is mind-boggling in itself.
Mm.
I mean, come on.
But I mean, like I said, if you're able to get all over everything that's thrown against you, that's going against you, um, able to stay out of jail, able to to have some kind of semblance of a decent life, you're a great man. Now, to be greater, you're gonna have to aspire to change your community.
Have to, and
You
that's
know,
what I'm. Like I said, I've been doing some soul search. I
mm,
got to figure out how to impact the community. I mean,
mm,
this I don't know. It's interesting.
mm. Like I said, Saturday I was like sitting here like I couldn't sleep Saturday. Saturday I couldn't sleep, and I just got up and I got on, and I was like, I had some things to get off my chest, so I just got on. I'm like, I don't usually talk about feelings and stuff, but
What you on the what platform did you go?
on here it's
Okay.
it's on YouTube.
It's on
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's on
You just
YouTube.
start.
But yeah, I know. I was, because like you said, the same thing. It boggled me. It's like we've got to the point where we celebrate somebody that didn't kill nobody, was not Hitler,
I mean,
and also I thought about it. If you're a man and you're opinionated, right, as I am, and as people's pointed out to me,
mhm.
so passionately, you're very opinionated. If
Well,
you're a type like me, will my death be celebrated? I had to think about that. Like,
well, you know, well, like I said, I keep it fairly calm on the show or
mm,
whatever. But that's my thing is to. I think I said this last week was to spark conversation.
mm,
So I'm gonna be the guy who gonna throw that monkey wrench in there.
mm,
Everybody having a good time. Oh, let me come over here and
mm,
put a little salt on this wound.
mm,
Just a little bit. I'm just gonna
salt bay.
just let me see what happens when I sprinkle a little. I mean, because we, like I said, we're at the point now where we don't know how to communicate with one another.
Mm,
We cannot. Why can't we have our differences and just talk about them versus people getting mad?
mm,
They turn it personal.
mm,
They want to shoot, fight, kill. I'm trying to figure out. Damn, that shows a lack of intelligence when you
yeah,
have to lead to physical attacks, personal attacks. It shows a lack of a lot of things. But just to have a conversation, just to be able to because if I don't tell you I feel differently, you'll never know.
mm,
And I don't understand why that rubbed so many people the wrong way that you don't think the same. If we all thought the same thing, then you wouldn't be needed. You know what I'm saying? If me and you
yeah,
thought the same thing, then I wouldn't be needed.
mm,
Well, it's like I said, it's just weird. So I'm going back to that. I've been soul searching the last few days. Like, man, where are we? What's going on in this world? And I understand it. I don't understand. I'm hoping it is not the majority of it
mm,
of us, but I really don't. I have no idea because this is the only sample I have,
yeah,
and until I start getting, I mean, went out to dinner the other night, and the group next to us was talking about it, and
mm,
I mean, they didn't go as far as popping no balloons and pouring up no champagne, but they was like were pretty negative.
yeah.
I'm just like, wow.
No, and the thing is, whether you liked the man or not, right? He's even in death, right? He's been talked about.
That he's getting ready to take off, man.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to be a rocket ship.
Mm,
His message is going to be spread. I mean, and just so all the people who will celebrate, they might as well get ready because
mm.
it's getting ready to come
It's good.
10
Yeah.
times
Oh yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's getting ready to, tenfold.
Yeah. Before you couldn't share his clips because it was under copyright, right? Now,
Yeah,
wide open.
it's getting ready to be tenfold.
Now they're gonna have clips of even more clips. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
and
dissected. It's
and
gonna be
hopefully
yeah.
people will start
Mm,
watching the
yeah.
entire
Yeah.
thing and see all this man want to do is bring the community together.
Mm,
But you would never get that out of the way some
yeah.
people describe it.
Because the clips, because they'll take
Because
the most salacious parts of what he said and
that's what
just
I'm telling you. They show
throw it
you a
out there.
5 minute clip.
Yeah.
It
Mhm.
was a 2 hour long.
It his most of the monologue was 45 minutes or better.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a monologue.
Mhm.
So who knows, man? But yeah, I'm really worried about humankind right now.
Yeah. No. Well, the black folks, in our community. I'm worried about our community. Period.
Well, yeah, I mean, with that, well, when I say
Mm,
humankind, I'm talking about my community because that's all I see. So I just,
mm,
I talk about them in general. I don't
mm,
even label it as such. But
mm,
yeah, man, I'm just like, damn, I got a daughter who I want to find a good husband.
mm,
I got a son who I want to find a good, I hope he can find him a good wife.
mm.
But shit, I mean, I'm just like, man, what, my kids ain't perfect, but
Yeah.
I'm like, man, what they gonna
But you
keep
want
picking
the
from?
best for them. Yeah. You
Yeah,
want. Yeah.
So we'll see. But
Yeah, and I'm thinking past that because I don't have no daughters. I got a granddaughter, so that's what I'm thinking. That generation, I'm like, okay,
see, I ain't even,
shit.
man, yeah, I ain't even gonna go there.
Mm.
Goodness.
As you said, we have to be worried about our community. Yeah, we got to be
Yeah,
real worried.
yeah.
Um, Now is not the time to be lax. I can tell y'all that.
Mm-mm.
You know, we've arrived. We could do everything that our ancestors can do, but we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do, and I really like the people that don't understand it. I'm finding myself being impatient with black people that don't understand this. Like I get it, kind of angers me almost, you know, because I understand what's going on around me, and I just don't understand why other people don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, I ask the same question all the time. Do you think the black community is in a bad place? Do you think we're messed up? Yeah, you know, everybody will agree with it. Okay, so
What are
now
you
I'm looking
doing?
at you stupid.
Yeah, what are you doing?
You know, what why we can't, you know, why can't this be our uh common discussion? Why this can't be our discussions all the time? Why we can't be, this can't be a topic all the time as to what we're going to do to fix our community? We worried about Ari Fletcher being in a club with a baby twerking and stuff, with a 3-year-old baby twerking. We worried about these stars doing what they doing. Lizzo out here showing up with her ass. I worry about all this other stuff. But the thing is, you can worry about that if you still worry about a community. You can do both at the same time, you know. But everybody wants to look at that because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to focus on negative, right?
Like I said,
Negative.
what they call
But
it, bread and circuses.
mm, as I said, now it's time to set it up. I agree. I agree, Ash. Like I said, that's why I'm so adamant about what I talk about. That's why, you know, um, I'm not on here for monetary gain. I don't do none of this shit. Like, I don't even have a cash app. I don't have nothing. I'm just on here talking because maybe I might say something to spark
Yeah,
somebody
maybe
to,
somebody catch a comment and make them
yeah,
have a conversation.
have a conversation, make a change. That's why I'm on here. I don't care anything about money, monetary gain. I don't care. I really don't. I care that my community gets better. I care that my kids will be better and have, you know, like you said, have better mates and be able to live life.
Right?
Like we live a fairly decent life. I want my kids to live a decent life, but they can't do it if they
But
don't have people around them that's, you know, in a
yeah,
certain
and
place.
and I, I try to school my kids on how they got this abundant mindset, which is nothing wrong with that, but we not abundant, opulent. I think
Opulent, yeah, opulent mind,
we,
yeah,
we, we go
yeah.
beyond
Beyond abundant. That's
what's
over
what's
abundant,
necessary,
abundant.
and it's fine if you can afford it, if you have the means, but a lot of us cannot do it, but we'll bend over backwards to por- to portray it,
Portray, yeah.
and that leads back to that whole selfish look at me,
Mm,
because now you cut off a, you've stifled the growth of your family,
mm.
the kids that are coming behind you trying to live a certain lifestyle. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of ranting a little bit.
Ashley said that's the propaganda I speak of. What you're speaking of though is what you're speaking of is like the whole high school mentality
Yeah,
going on into adulthood.
it's like high school
Yeah,
never ended
yeah.
for, like,
It's never ending. Mm,
if you 40 and below, it's like high school's still going on right
mm,
now.
mm,
It's just, it's just 27th grade now.
mm,
I don't know, hell,
mhm.
but yeah, it's man, some real soul search. But
Mm,
so goes life, and
yeah.
it's been like, believe it or not, we've been through this before.
Mm,
Since the beginning of time, these things have been cyclical, and if you,
mm.
that's why I got to get back to my reading, man. I
Yeah.
start reading
Mm.
my history books so I can, because
You have to read. Go to YouTube and start looking up different histories,
I mean, but
different eras and through history.
it's just different. It's
Mm,
it's so much out there, and
mm,
if you don't get it from the horse's mouth, then
mm.
you gonna get, and even then,
No, that's why I look at like all the videos I pull up. It's from
yeah,
back then. It's from people that went through that stuff. Uh,
yeah, it's deep, it's deep.
yeah.
But yeah, man.
But yeah, we have to understand. You know, great men change their surroundings. You know, love them, hate them. You know, but you're gonna remember 'em.
Oh yeah,
Sign of a great man, y'all.
oh yeah.
You got anything to say? Cause I'm done. I'm through.
No,
Cause
happy Tuesday,
yeah,
man.
happy
It's
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Um, for those that follow stars, Young Thug and Gunna went to jail, y'all. I was in Buckhead and I saw the caravan with the military. They had military vehicles. I took a video of it. They had
Is that
military
where they
vehicles.
were headed?
Yeah, they was headed over there to do the bus. Yeah. They had like military grade vehicles, the battering ram and shit. I'm like, what the hell they going
You
to?
didn't know what was going on. You just
No,
said,
I
"I'm
just,
gonna record."
I'm like, oh, this is crazy. You know, military green and everything. What the hell? It said SWAT. I'm like, oh, they about to take somebody
That's
down.
APD SWAT
Yeah.
team right there.
But yeah, and I heard that ATL Scoop had on there young thug and whatever got busted, RICO charges and everything else.
Yeah,
I'm
my
like,
son was telling me,
shit.
he said they arrested 27
Yeah,
people, 28 people. It was a
yeah,
lot.
and the dogs.
What you mean?
They had dogs out there. And the dogs had to go to jail too. They got the
Damn,
dogs. They got the dogs.
damn.
Uh,
Life
Ashley
ain't
say,
so
"Woo,
fair.
great conversation. Appreciate it, Ashley. Hey, we gonna do some things, Ash, because I still have to get back with you about collaborating on some stuff, but um, no, yeah, it's a lot of depth that we need to dive into all this type of conversation regularly. We can't just do this one and done.
Mm.
We got to do this regularly to try to get some answers. Um, yeah, but it's crazy, man. We gonna see what happens. I think like I predict what you said. Like it's gonna
Oh yeah,
be all over the place, and
it's getting ready to explode.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's what I see. You might see me on there playing some music, putting on my
Yeah.
suit.
See, and I was gonna cue something up, and I said, "Nah, I'm not gonna do this." I said I'm not gonna do it, but I just reference it, and I'm not gonna, I'm gonna let the dead rest and all that. We sure are because a panel discussion is needed. Exactly. If you get some people together, Ashley, you could come on over on Sunday. I try to do it Sundays at 4 Eastern. Um, yeah, 4 Eastern, 3 Central. Um, this Sunday I'm gonna try to do there's no community route unity. Yeah, I was supposed to do it 2 weeks ago, but some people backed out. But anyway, you got anything else, brother? Because I'm done. I'm
That's it.
through.
That's it.
All
Happy
right.
Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
Uh
See y'all next time.
okay.
Mr. High Value Man over there.
Yeah, oh, well, one more comment before we go.
What we got?
Okay, that's say I will. All right, sis. Um, 1 second, y'all. Uh, as you said, we are good. We are great, and we are. We out, y'all.